The sun is shining in the sky, hardly a cloud in sight, and we are going to have a fantastic race here today.
Drivers, start your engine!
Cause we want retribution. Yeah, we want retribution.
But coming to the green here, it's going to clean out real well. Pace car's off, kick some ass.
There's the green flag and we're underway.
Green, 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 green. Outside, still there at your door. Good job, man. Nice and solid. Take care of your stuff.
Three wide.
Here, Hawkins into the wall.
Oh, big trouble!
Crash in the back. Oh, there's a crash in the back.
Trouble.
Great job, doing awesome, buddy.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to the Iowa Speedway, where this time it is for our main event. It is our 200-lapper Menards 400 for race number 9 of the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series. So far, it has been an absolutely amazing month of May. This is our third race of the entire month, and the action and the drama and the excitement has just ramped up. It's been continuously ramping up by the week, and we're really starting to see a lot of the desperation and a lot of drivers that we would typically see, that we've seen all at the bottom of the point standings throughout the year. They're now starting to make some moves. We saw Janiyah Hill start 36th at Ricky and take herself to victory lane. Unfortunately, still top 25 in the point standings. And then just last week, we saw Russell Blaze manage to win in a 3-wide battle for the victory at the Talladega Super Speedway. He is looking to go back-to-back here for the Iowa weekend. And then just in case if you were not with us last Friday night, it was Walker Family Motorsports delivering their first Xfinity Series win with Ray Atikian and getting Toyota their first win of the year over in that division. As far as over here, they've already got a win or two, obviously with Wyatt Walker at the Auto Club Speedway, but they're looking to try to do a couple of other things. We are faced with a couple of scenarios coming into tonight's race. Of course, last Friday, there's two different sweeps that we could potentially see. The first being Walker Family Motorsports going to victory lane here tonight. The second, Ray Atikian himself could very well sweep the weekend. He starts 7th here tonight, and it should be a very fun night here at the Iowa Speedway. Of course, as I mentioned, Russell Blaze came out as the victor at Talladega Super Speedway last Sunday. And after all of that mumbo jumbo that happened at Talladega just last Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen, there is a new sheriff in town, and his name is Russell Blaze. He takes over the points lead just by 11 points over Tanner Parton. Terry Walker still 3rd. Ramsey falls to 4th. Monaco completes your top 5. The NS Racing boys of Clifton, Miller, and Fitzy all inside of the top 10. And how about Davis Family Racing? Mercedes and Ryan, 8th and 9th. Take a look at the next page. Stephen Walker getting a little bit closer to the top 10, as you see right there, 12th in the standing. So Death Rider Racing having themselves a pretty solid year thus far. Take a look into the next page over here, and we talk about Walker Family Motorsports. Well, you're going to see some of them that are kind of struggling points-wise. You saw CG Hall in the top 20, Wyatt Walker right here in 22nd. And then Bobby, we also mentioned McGuire and also Janiyah Hill. They're inside of the top 25. Nathan Stapleton, his boys are doing pretty well, but he himself right now is inside of the top 30. Defending series champion Kyle Craven, 29th. And there is a last year's winner here at Iowa, that being Abby Walker. She is 33rd in the point standings. definitely not the rut that she wants to end up in here for this weekend. Coming into this weekend, Rogel Dorn dead last in points. So the good news is, unless if any of the 3 drivers, Brown, Taylor, and Dorn, all get poor finishes and only get 1 point, there is a pretty decent chance that every driver should be able to get into the triple digits as far as points are concerned. But man, oh man, we had ourselves some qualifying, by the way, off stream at the very beginning of this past week, because obviously IRL, I unfortunately could not do this race on a Saturday because I had to work last night as far as when this is streamed live. So we did qualifying off stream, and as you can see, it's a duo of 4. So they're going to be leading the field to the green flag. It's Ryan Little for Vision Motorsports and Andrew Miller for NS Racing. Eric Blaze, who had a top 10 run last Friday, starts 3rd tonight. Nikki Fox starting in 4th. Nathan Stapleton, who's inside of the top 30 in the points, he is starting 5th. Ray Atikian looking to sweep the weekend, starting in the 7th position for Trinity River Racing. Also, Walker Family Motorsports looking to try to sweep the weekend as well for the team as a whole. They won with Ray last Friday here at Iowa, so there's definitely a lot of questions to be asked. Even Russell Blaze, we even are going to acknowledge, of course, we didn't even acknowledge this, but he is looking to go back-to-back. He's starting 22nd, right about mid-pack, so he's got a little bit of work cut out for him coming into this one here tonight. Going to go ahead and get everything set up here as we take a look at the next page. There is our defending winner of this event, Abby Walker, starting in the 40th position. So definitely going to have her work cut out for her here tonight. And then we take a look at our provisional starters here for this race. That being Roberto Crown Jr. and 4th place in the point standings, that being Andrew Ramsey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been such a weekend here at Iowa, and we've got obviously a lot of scenarios coming in. Blaze looking to go back-to-back. Walker Family Motorsports and also Ray Atikian, both looking to try to sweep the weekend for themselves. It's going to be a very fun one. 200 laps of excitement here at the Iowa Speedway. Let's get the action going. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 42 behemoths rolling on the track, we got to get the command to fire the engines. So let's go trackside and get just that.
Drivers, start your engines!
There it is. Engines are fired. Pace car is rolling off, and so are these 42 competitors. And hopefully we should have everybody rolling off. That indeed is going to be the case. Last year, this race was 125 laps, so these drivers didn't really have a whole lot of racing to do. I mean, even though it was some really good action. Last night, that was the Xfinity Series distance. Tonight, this race is 75 laps longer, so we're going to have more action for tonight's festivities. As the field works their way through turn number 4, pace car is going to dive to pit road. Ryan Little and Andrew Miller are going to lead the field to the green flag to get race number 9 of the NOS Energy Cup Series underway from here in Iowa. Eric Blaze wasting no time getting into turn number 3. He's going to duck to the inside to try to take over this top position and block Ryan Little from trying to lead those 5 bonus points. And he's going to do it. He'll block Ryan Little from the 5 bonus points here tonight. Blaze leads the first lap of action. Ryan Little still trapped on the outside. Nathan Stapleton now jumps up to third. Here comes Ray Atiki into the inside of Andrew Miller for the fourth position. He's going to easily nab that as they come off of turn number 4. And Andrew Miller already scraping the outside wall. And here comes fellow Indiana native, now being Zachary Taylor. The Indiana native to Nathan Stapleton. Oh, multiple cars hitting the wall down the back straightaway, and around they go into turn 3. This is a huge pile up. Oh my goodness gracious. Kyle Craven was just on his side. And the caution flag waves on lap number 3. Eric Blaze was the one that led him back to the caution flag, but my goodness, what a chaotic way to start this one. A huge crash that started on the back stretch and carried over into the third corner, and it caused a massive pileup. I see a little bit of damage to the 19 of Wyatt Walker. He's on the inside line. He's going to make that trip to pit road. But the only thing I'm really noticing is that this is just right side damage to his car, so he should still be okay. But my goodness, Bobby McGuire, lots of rear end damage. CG Holt, a little bit of damage to the front end of his car. Oh, Blaze might have gotten a piece of that one too. I just saw a little bit of damage to the right side of his machine, but his son, Eric Blaze, is leading the charge very early in the going here in the Menards 400 at the Iowa Speedway. Let's take a look at what happened that caused that first caution of the night here in Iowa. And I would have to say it started with a lot of these drivers kind of going a little bit too, coming off the corner just a little bit too hot. Either that or it might have been just several cars pancaking the outside wall. But we're about to find that out. We're going to follow along with Kyle Craven because he was one of the drivers that was involved in this one. As they come off of turn number 2, a lot of drivers are going to end up pancaking that outside wall. Rogel Dorn was the first one that I saw. And then I do believe, Trinity Anderson bounces off of Moscow, then comes down, hits the 18 of Bobby McGuire, who loses control at this point, and then clips the left rear of Kyle Craven's car, and then everybody else. It's just a blockade at this point. Sam Vitale gets into it, as does Stephen Walker. Our points leader, Tanner Parton, right in the middle of this. Then it's Clifton. Andrew Ramsey getting into this one. Mercedes Davis, CG Holt, Bobby McGuire, Josiah Munsell, Travis Crampton. And then look at the 28 just on his driver's side door. And comes back to rest. Fortunately, comes back to rest on all 4 wheels. He's able to grab a gear and keep the car rolling. But what an interesting way to start off this race. I don't recall the first time that we came to Iowa. I don't even know how we managed to, especially get a caution early in the going, but then also kind of not have a wreck as big as this. Just absolutely insane stuff. Point leader Russell Blaze. Great job getting on the brakes and missing that whole spiel there. But of course, he does pancake the right side of his car there. I wonder if he ran into some oil that was potentially left behind by the 18 machine of Bobby McGuire. Maybe even, I don't even know if he got into the oil of the 04, but but definitely it might have been the 18 of McGuire. That could be a possibility, but first caution flies very early in the going here at the Iowa Speedway on lap number 3. It's absolutely insane to me of how early we're already experiencing trouble. You know, turn 4 has been the trouble spot for a lot of these contenders, but here tonight, it was coming off of turn 2, heading into the third corner. I swear to you guys, the AI difficulty is the exact same as it was last year and the exact same as it was last night, 102%. I'm not sure what it could be tonight. Maybe it could be the weather. It could potentially be a full moon here in Iowa. But regardless of that, 5 laps complete. And Eric Blaze is leading the charge early in the going. He finished top 10 last Friday in his Xfinity Series race. Looking to try to do a little bit better here and try to win tonight. But obviously, we still have a long way to go before we can say that Eric Blaze may potentially be a NOS Energy Cup winner, before we even say he could be an Xfinity winner. But nonetheless, he leads the way, with Ryan Little in second, Nathan Stapleton in third, Ray Atikian in fourth. Completing your top 5, that would be the 85 of Zachary Taylor, Ryan Davis in 6th, Michael Davis in 7th, Andrew Miller 8th, Zachary Fitzwater 9th, and Skylar Taylor rounds out your top 10. Let's see if we're going to get one to go this time by. We're going to keep our eyes on the pace car here. 1 to go has been given officially, so we'll be restarting with 7 laps complete. And everybody still in this race and still on the lead lap, which is great news. There's the what's left of the 28 of Kyle Craven, a missing rear end and all on the number 28 machine. Missing hood on the 04 of Quentin Moore, so he's running a modified at this particular rate. And several other cars that probably don't have a lot of damage on their machines. Wyatt Walker, he's still okay. He's still racing, as is the 67 of Andrew Ramsey, especially since he literally pancaked the passenger side of his car into the driver's side of Claire Phillips. And miraculously, Phillips is all the way up here in the 23rd position after all of that. But further up front, it is Eric Blaze that's going to lead the field back to the restart with 7 laps complete in the Menards 400. He gets a pretty good jump on the restart. Top 3 get a good jump on this restart. Blaze is going to leave the top open. That is going to allow Brian Little an opportunity to capitalize and go to the inside of Eric Blaze to take that top position away across the stripe. Give it to Little. Actually, wait, Eric Blaze led that lap somehow. Man, just think if that was the finish of this race, would it be an insane one? But now, Ryan Little clears Eric Blaze for the top position. Here comes Nathan Stapleton to the inside. This is going to be for the second spot as they come off 4, and caution is out yet again. There's a spin going into turn 3. That would be Roberto Crown Jr. as he gets his car back up and rolling. Are we having our own rendition of this year's All-Star race? Dear God, I hope not. Several cars already on pit road as the pack is going to come on down into the pits. Bobby McGuire getting more service done to his car. He'll be down and away. Claire Phillips coming in as well. Roberto Crown Jr., several others, if I can actually say it, are coming on down as well. But yeah, I don't understand why we're having as many cautions as we are early in the going, because it just doesn't make any sense to me how all these drivers are racing like it's the last lap. But yet there's still so much time here in this event. But regardless, I thought it would have been the entire field that would have come on into pit, but that is not the case. A lot of them, a massive chunk of them, decided to stay out. And it will be Zachary Taylor that's going to be leading the field when we get ready to go back under green. Let's go back and review what happened to Roberto Crown Jr. that caused the second caution of the night very early on lap number 9. My goodness gracious. Once again, trouble on the back straightaway, and it was a 3 wide situation, and I guess some drivers are going to be a little bit antsy when it comes to 3 wide. But from the looks of things, I think, yeah, Crown kind of comes off the corner a little too hot. Oh, Wyatt Walker gets into the 21 and actually pushes him up into Noah Clifton. And that's what sent the 21 around on the back straightaway. The good news is this was mainly just a single car spin. Looks like this 21 obviously did get turned a good 180 degrees one way and then gets it turned back around the other way to get the car pointed back in the right direction. But this is the cause of our second caution of the night. Wyatt Walker gets into the 21 and forces him up into Noah Clifton, and around goes the Beyblade X Chevrolet Camaro of Roberto Crown Jr., a winner from Michigan last year. And his sophomore slump just continues. So a good night, well, a bad night has unfortunately turned to worse here for the 21 team. But he should still be good to go here. And ladies and gentlemen, another driver that is already on pit road as of right now, that would be the number 29 of Russell Blaze. He's getting his damage reassessed, and he's coming back out onto the racetrack. But I do believe he probably, I don't think he's going to be several laps down, but chances are he probably might be at the tail end of the lead lap. As Kyle Craven, I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. I think he might have been letting Taylor go, because scoring might have just said that he would have to stay behind the 85. But obviously, as you can see here, looks like Kyle Craven is going to be one lap down. And for our points leader, Russell Blaze, after making his stop and coming back out onto the racetrack, he has been relegated to the 40th position. Right back over here with Rogel Dorn. Bobby McGuire getting more damage assessed on his car. He's coming back out onto the racetrack. So as they come off of turn number 4, I do believe we should be getting set to restart this race on lap 14. That is the case as we get one to go. Zachary Taylor will officially be your race leader. Ray Atikian in second. Michael Davis third. Skep Silver fourth. Avery Alfer fifth. Skylar Taylor sixth. Terry Walker seventh. Not Taylor Walker, but Terry Walker. Wrong one. Alex Bonsignor eighth. Then in ninth will be the 6 of Emily Anderson, and Alex Sanbatali rounds out your top 10 as we get ready to restart with 13 laps complete. And Kyle Craven is the only driver that is one lap down in the obviously in dead last. Bobby McGuire still in 41st. He is on the lead lap, and he will be joining the tail end of the longest line for the restart. Base car's off. The top 3 managed to get a pretty good jump on the last restart. Let's see how they do on this restart. And I think they might have jumped. They got a little bit of an earlier restart than the one I remember. I don't even know. But either way, we're back to racing. Kyle Craven out ahead of Zachary Taylor. And here comes Ray Atikian to the inside. Atikian looking to try it, and we're back under caution, ladies and gentlemen. We are back under caution. A wreck in turn number 3. Travis Crampton goes around. And that will allow Kyle Craven to get back on the lead lap. And just like that, we're back under caution. Is it just me, or am I watching either the All-Star race all over again, or am I watching a bottom split race on iRacing? I don't know which one I'm watching, but either way, back under caution for the 3rd time tonight. let's go back and take a look at what happened to Travis Crampton that caused our third yellow of the night. We're not even an eighth of the way through this race, and we're already getting our third caution of the night. And I guess nobody knows how to go 3 wide. I guess nobody knows how to go 3 wide, but look at this. Andrew Miller gets into the left rear of Travis Crampton. It keeps riding on the left rear. They both come down into Zachary Fitzwater. And neither the 61 or the 96 will get off each other here, and that's going to allow the 61 to go around and right in front of our pole sitter into the outside wall. Goes the 61 of Travis Crampton. You know why? It might have just come on the radio a little bit ago during this caution period, and he just asked, is this North Wilkesboro all over again? This probably might be the case, except what happened in North Wilkesboro last year that happened on the back end of that race looks like it's happening on the front end of this race. I do not recall last year's Iowa festivities being this chaotic this early in the going. The last time that we had a race at Iowa for the Cup side, it seemed to be just a lot better than this. It definitely was a lot better than this, but I'm not sure what it could be that is contributing to the maximized amount of chaos that we're seeing here tonight. Whether it be the weather, whether it be track conditions, or whether it be the intensity of these drivers knowing how many points you get for leading a lap, leading the most laps, or winning a race, or even just the increased distance that we have here for tonight. Regardless of that, I'm not quite understanding the intensity rate being as high as it is this early in the going. We're not even a tenth of the way through this race, and we've already had 3 cautions. Absolutely ridiculous. But aside from that, hopefully, and fingers crossed, we should get a decent green flag run in, because the longest green flag run that we've had, and I cannot even believe that I'm saying this, is 3 laps. And that happened at the start of the race. Nonetheless, here, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost a tenth of the way through this race, and most of this tenth has been run under caution. Ray Atikian is out front, and Atikian is looking to do something that I don't think we've seen in WRLA competition yet, or if it already has happened, it hasn't happened since 2017. Ray Atikian is looking to sweep the weekend as a driver. Of course, he won last Friday with Walker Family Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. Made the Cup race here for tonight. Early in the going, leading the charge. Of course, that's not the only thing. That's not the only scenario that is currently playing a factor here for tonight. Walker Family Motorsports is also looking to sweep the weekend as a team. Again, I bring up Ray Atikian when he won with Walker Family Motorsports last Friday. So they're looking to try to sweep the weekend as a team. Ray Atikian looking to try to sweep as a driver. Russell Blaze looking to try to go back-to-back, but obviously at this point, he's going to have his work cut out for him. I mean, he picked up several positions. He's up to 34th after restarting in 40th. So slowly picking his way through the field, but hopefully it's not through the multitude of cautions that we've had here for tonight. I guarantee you nothing much has changed inside of the top 10. It is the exact same as it was the last time we restarted. But Ray Atikian is out front. Zachary Taylor falls to 3rd, but here we go. Green flag back in the air with 18 laps complete. And please, for the love of God, let's turn our attention towards the back part of the field and hope and pray that we don't see any trouble back over here. Phillips to the inside of Janiah Hill. Heading through turns 3 and 4. Getting a little bit squirrely as they come off of the 4th corner. And oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we just made a green flag lap. I cannot even believe my eyes. We just made a green flag lap. Oh, Fitzy. Oh, he pancakes the outside wall. So he's going to slow way down. And a couple cars actually peeling off and coming to pit road. One of which being Janiah Hill. Another one being Andrew Ramsey. And Mercedes Davis actually coming into the pits. So several cars making some unscheduled stops. Possibly might be the fenders rubbing on the tires. And I mean, that might happen. That definitely will happen if you keep rubbing the outside wall. Another car coming into the pits. That's Josiah Munsell in the 15. He's in. But up front, a couple of part-timers are pulling away. Ray Atikian and Michael Davis. They've checked out from new third place Skep Silver. And ladies and gentlemen, for the 4th time tonight, we're back under caution. Roberto Crown Jr., Ryan Davis, Rogel Dorn. They are done, especially Crown. Crown is done for the night. Russell Blaze actually was among some of those that made a stop and came back out. Oh, Nikki Fox, that is unfortunate. Started 4th in this race. Unfortunately, her night is done in the number 32. Bobby McGuire, I think he has more damage than what he had in the first wreck. But my, oh my here, ladies and gentlemen, we're an 1/8 of the way through this race. 4 cautions. I don't even believe what I'm seeing here, folks. More drivers coming on in, so some of them are going to stay out. And that's going to cycle the lead over to Claire Phillips in the number 5 machine. Actually, Claire Phillips will be our new race leader. And our first retiree of the night is going to go to Roberto Crown Jr. But Claire Phillips cycles up to the lead. Let's go back and look at what happened that caused our 4th caution of the night here at the Iowa Speedway. I can't even believe that within the first 1/8 of this race, we are now up to 4 cautions. Can't even believe that here, folks. But obviously, as you can see here, Roberto Crown Jr., he's in front of Stephen Walker, Nikki Fox, and Rogel Dorn. I wonder if Crown was another one of those drivers that was trying to get off the racing surface to get into the pits. Might not be the case here. Let's see what this looks like. Well, Crown was already into the outside wall, and then Stephen Walker hung on the right rear of the 86. That's what sent him around. That's also what sent the 21 around. On the right-hand side of your screen, you also just witnessed Ryan Davis get his damage. Oh, Russell Blaze was collected in that one. That's why he made another trip to pit road. So trouble for our points leader, Russell Blaze. More damage sustained on the number 29 machine. And then further up ahead, Davis and McGuire making contact with one another. And then I believe Nikki Fox might have piled into Rogel Dorn. But man, what a chaotic first 1/8 of this event, involving Crown, Walker, Dorn, Davis, McGuire, our points leader, Russell Blaze. Man, look at Nathan Stapleton. Just actually, he masterful driving for Stapleton. He's going to get around this without a problem. And he will continue on in this event. So far, Stapleton having himself a pretty good night, but as for several others, man, this race is going absolutely sour I can't even believe what I'm witnessing here for tonight, guys. This is just absolutely unbelievable of what we're witnessing. Almost like pretty much an eighth of the way through this event. But the rest of the field is either on pit road. Rogel Dorn getting damage repaired on his car. Ryan Davis sitting in the pits, as is Russell Blaze, just trying to reevaluate the situations. And Blaze is out. Russell Blaze is out of the race. Oh my goodness. That is not the news that Russell Blaze wanted. So Russell will not be going back to back here tonight. Ryan Davis has also taken his car back behind the garage area. Oh my goodness gracious. That is not what Russell Blaze wanted. Not the news that the 29 team was wanting to hear. So trouble for our points leader. A good night. What was some great momentum coming into tonight. It's gone from bad to worse and now terminal for Russell Blaze. That is heartbreaking. Ryan Davis also came into this top 10 in the points. Unfortunately, he is not. Probably might not be in the top 10 after tonight. 1 to go has been given. Your top 10 is going to look like this when we get ready to restart with 26 laps complete. It is Claire Phillips who leads the way. CG Holt in second. Stephen Walker in third. Eric Monaco fourth. Ryan Little completes your top 5. Then it's Sebastian Vaughn in 6th. Michael Davis in 7th. Terry Walker 8th. Emily Anderson 9th. And Alex Bonsignor rounds out your top 10. Now, please, for the love of God, can we have a long green flag run? A decently long green flag run at the very least, guys. Come on. Can we have that? I sure hope so. 34 cars on the lead lap. And we only have at least 39 of them that are still running on the racetrack. Claire Phillips brings them back down for the restart. Oh my goodness, Travis Crampton absolutely did not get going whatsoever. Hill, Davis, Munsell, and Ramsey, all of these drivers, all of them are trapped behind Travis Crampton, whom absolutely is so incredibly slow on the restart. Definitely might be a dropped cylinder on that number 61. And you see on the ticker, CG Hall goes to the point. Here comes Stephen Walker to the inside. We're going to have to watch for this here. Wait a minute, Stephen Walker's going to the pits, as is the 67 of Andrew Ramsey. What in the world is going on? Hill into the outside wall. Ooh, Crampton, I actually know he's still slow. I've had a little bit of hope, but Crampton is still off the pace. He's trying to stay out of the way. I thought he was gonna pancake the outside wall there, but good news, not the case. Everybody slowly but surely trying to get around this number 61. And I think we should be clear. Oh, crashing turn 4. I jinxed it. Andrew Ramsey, Noah Clifton. Caution. With 30 laps complete, CG Holt leads him down. And Andrew Ramsey had just come out of the pits. And I wonder if he was one of the drivers that was the culprit. Obviously, I wonder if he was the one that caused the caution just by rejoining the racing surface. But good news for Stephen Walker. I do believe he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap. Or he's going to get back on the lead lap after that spiel that just happened there. I don't even know what's happening. It's like we start to get into a good run, and then all of a sudden there's several cars that peel off and they go to pit road. And then it's all a whole rinse and repeat cycle. But Sebastian Vaughn, after Claire Phillips and CG Holt elected to make the trip to pit road, is leading the charge here at the Iowa Speedway. Let's take a look at what happened that caused our fifth, I can't even believe that, our fifth caution of the night between Andrew Ramsey and Noah Clifton. Ramsey is out of it. Ramsey has taken his car back behind the wall after this incident. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it, but Andrew Ramsey just LePaged Noah Clifton. He rejoins the racing surface on the inside line. And then right about here, I believe Jordan, yeah, right here, Sumner actually gets into the right rear of the 67, and they both go up into Noah Clifton. And that is what ends Ramsey's night. So two things in this whole deal. One, obviously Andrew Ramsey was trying to do everything he could to stay to the inside after he was just getting up to speed. But also, I don't understand why Jordan Sumner didn't allow herself room between, obviously, herself and Ramsey, because she just practically took out the 67, ended his night, and definitely hurt Noah Clifton's for sure. But nonetheless, Andrew Ramsey done for the night here at the Iowa Speedway, and Sebastian Vaughn leads the charge. And one other thing that I do want to review here is a little bit of an incident that just happened on pit road. But you're going to see it here. This is between Holt and Claire Phillips. Okay, now for those that are wondering what exactly is supposed to be happening here, as the field is cycling around, there is that stoplight on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, for those that don't know, obviously as the field goes by, that when that light turns red, you are supposed to stop at the end of pit road and wait until the entire field cycles back around or cycles by. And once that happens, that light will turn green. That is your signal that you may leave pit road and rejoin the field on the racetrack. But that incident right there, obviously, CG Holt did get into the 5 of Claire Phillips, but not that he was meaning to do it. But as you can see there, light's green, and the field, at least the cars that were on pit road, they get to leave and rejoin the racing surface at the tail end of the pack. Wyatt Walker was amongst them, as was Abby Walker. Walker won this race last year. Unfortunately, right now running in the 31st position, as is the 19 of Wyatt Walker. But nonetheless here, ladies and gentlemen, I think we got a longer green flag run in, but still 5 cautions, and we're not even a quarter of the way through this event. It's absolutely just unbelievable of what we're witnessing. I think it just, I wonder if it just has to be the weather. It could potentially be the weather, but then again, everything, all the AI difficulty is the exact same as it was last year. It was 102%, and we didn't have this issue last year. Hell, I mean, like the first third of the Xfinity race last Friday was this chaotic, and then the rest of the way we went green flag. We were under green, but here tonight, it seems to be a little bit of a different story. See what the field is going to be getting here this time by. think we're going to get one to go here. That exactly is going to be the case. So one lap and we'll be back to green flag racing on lap 35 with 34 laps complete. Sebastian Vaughn leads the way. Then it's Michael Davis in second, Ryan Little in third, Skylar Taylor fourth, Ray Atikian completes your top five. Then it is Skep Silver in the sixth position. In seventh is the number 50, the 69 of Alex Sanvitali. The 89 of Jordan Sumner in eighth, Jerry Rose in ninth, and Eric Blaze, or Alex Bonsignor rather, rounds out your top 10. Eric Blaze just outside of the top 10 in 11th, so he's slowly starting to rally his way back up to the front. But that's just due to all the cautions that we've been having as of recently, you know, within the early stages of this event. We barely have gotten a green flag run in. A duo of Monster Energy cars are going to lead us back to the restart. The front three on the inside line, they get a much better jump. Shania Hill starting to fade a little bit, but obviously the 61 is going absolutely nowhere. Try to keep an eye here on this number 61. Hope and pray that we're able to get a go. Oh, man. Blaze and Bonsignor just slapped the outside wall coming off of 4. And now both of them have some pretty decent damage on their cars. Vaughn and also the 30 of Michael Davis fighting hard for that top position. Silver into the outside wall, and oh boy, trouble on the front straightaway. Sanvitali bouncing off of multiple cars, now flipping going into turn 1. Sixth caution. Sixth caution of the night. This has to be North Wilkesboro all over again, but this time it's all happening at the front end of the race. But what a ride that Alex Sanvitali just took. And surprisingly, he's going to be continuing on. But as for Crampton, I think he's done. Yep, indeed, that is the case. Bonsignor, I think if he continues on, he's definitely going to be very much so off the pace. But Vaughn, Ryan Little, I don't even know who else is coming on down pit road. Eric Blaze is another one that's coming in to make a stop. But Michael Davis leads the way. Sixth caution of the night. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Especially with 1/4 of this race completed. But you're going to see it here, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this number 69. He's already trying to get to the inside of Skep Silver, who comes off the corner really hot. They both slide off of turn number 4. Silver hits the wall, and I'm not sure what just happened there. I wonder if Sanvitali tried to self-clear. He bounces off the wall, comes down into the path of Stephen Walker, bounces off of him, comes back up, bounces off the wall again, gives Silver even more damage. And then this hit right here gives Bonsignor more damage, and then here comes the 61 of Travis Crampton, sending that 69 of Sanvitali up and over. Did only one roll, comes back on to rest on all 4 wheels, and he continues on somehow, some way. This race, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even understand what is even going on here because I'm still baffled by what we're seeing. The Cup race last year was a lot better than what we have right now. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, easily, last year's Iowa race clears this one by miles. This race, especially at the very beginning of it, within the first quarter, we've already had 6 caution flags, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we spent half of those laps within the first quarter under caution. San Vitale, obviously going to be out of contention, as will several other drivers that were caught up in that one. Bonsignor is going to be out of contention, as will the 61 of Travis Crampton. Crampton was already pretty much severely wounded. Andrew Ramsey, well, obviously Ramsey was done from the last caution. Now Travis Crampton takes his car back behind the wall. I can't even believe what I'm witnessing here, ladies and gentlemen, but there goes Bonsignor. He leaves the hood and all in his pit box. I've never seen that before. A car ends up disappearing, but the hood is the last thing that gets left behind. I've never seen that before. But that's a first. Monaco is rejoining the racing surface, as is Skep Silver. San Vitale is done for the night. And man, I can't even believe this. I can't even believe this race altogether has just been an absolute crapshoot, especially within the first quarter, because 3 wide, I guess, is a little bit too difficult to manage. And then a lot of these drivers are just taking turn 4 and even off turn 2 way too hot. And that's what's causing a lot of the calamity that we've seen going into turn 3 and then coming off of turn 4. That's the first incident that we've seen coming off of turn 4 and heading down the front straightaway tonight. But as for, you know, the entirety of this last weekend, this entire last Friday, we've seen some incidents coming off of turn 4 heading down the front straightaway. One in particular heading into turn 3. And then the rest of the race was caution free. Well, at least the rest of the race we went under green, but regardless of that, I'm hoping that we can at least get a decent green flag run in. I'm keeping my fingers crossed here. So far, we have 36 cars, or now 35 cars still running on the racetrack. 33 of them are on the lead lap. Your race leader is Michael Davis. Running in second is Ray Atikian. Jordan Sumner is in third. Running in fourth is the 00 of Jerry Rose. Skylar Taylor rounds out your top 5, and then it's Avery Alford in 6th, Tanner Parton in 7th, Nathan Stapleton in 8th. Then Terry Walker in 9th, and Zachary Fitzwater rounds out your top 10. Only 2 cars lining up on the inside row. Janiah Hill, Stephen Walker down on the bottom. Hill is 2 laps down. She's trying to look to get one of her laps back. Green flag goes back in the air. Michael Davis leads them back down. Top 4 get a really good jump on the restart. Stephen Walker looking to try to get by the number 7, because Walker is 1 lap down, so he has an opportunity to try to pass Michael Davis to get back on the lead lap. But so far, to no avail. Michael Davis now starting to check out. But meanwhile, further in the back of the field, a lot of calamity, especially with all these other cars that are running like modifieds. Quentin Moore way off the pace. Skep Silver surprisingly hanging with the 17 of CG Halt, at least for the most part, but nonetheless. Looks like everybody coming off of turn 4, it looks at least everybody is keeping their cars in one piece. Nikki Fox getting passed by Emily Anderson. And they're 3 wide up here. Fitzy on the bottom. Stephen Walker up top. Pancakes the wall. And Davis still leading the way. Skylar Taylor now moves up into second. And oh boy, Sumner bouncing off of several cars, and around she goes. Oh boy, that was actually really close. Almost collecting a couple other cars, but thankfully she spins it around. She saves it, but the caution is out for the 7th time tonight. Sebastian Vaughn almost got collected in that one. Now remember, Vaughn and Sumner are teammates. Of course, Sumner runs full-time in the Xfinity Series, and Vaughn runs full-time up here in the Cup Series, and just that would have been a very, very interesting meeting between the two of them. They both co-own the team of Moonstar Enterprise. But Sumner, I mean, amazing driving and amazing of how nobody was able to hit her in the process, but man, that's just rather unfortunate. I think she might have just bounced off the wall, bounced off of several other cars, and then unfortunately just was not able to recover it. But let's see how it happened. Let's see how she managed to get herself into this position. 7th caution of the night. Absolutely just ridiculous stuff that we're seeing here, and I don't mean that in a good way. I do not mean that in a good way whatsoever. But this is the incident right here. Coming off of turn number 2, Stephen Walker on the 3rd line, right around the extreme high side. And I wonder here, because I think Sumner's going to make some contact. Yes, she does. Makes some contact with the left rear of the 24, who bounces, actually kind of forces her off of his car, comes down into Abby Walker, and then collects the 48 of Terry Walker in the process, who's just an innocent bystander there. And around goes this number 89 of Sumner. Look at this. Ooh, that was close between the 54 and the 89. Thankfully, neither of those cars got any sort of damage off of one another. Of course, Sumner has a little bit of damage that she sustained from bouncing off of Abby Walker and then into Terry Walker. Oh man, a lot of walkers that Sumner did get surrounded by here. First Steven, first an instant with Steven, then Abby, then Terry. And thankfully, and if Wyatt had been a little bit lower on the racetrack, it would have been 4 walkers that she would have had some form of interaction with on the racetrack. But man, this is just absolutely ridiculous stuff that we're seeing here at the Iowa Speedway, as I've been mentioning, because we are practically closing in on 1/4 of the way through the Menards 400 here at the Iowa Speedway, and we have seen 7 cautions already. 7 cautions here tonight. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous stuff that we're seeing in the opening stages of this event. Sumner, after that little deal that she had with the 3 walkers, she finds herself right now 28th on the racetrack, and probably is going to pick up a couple more positions. But other than that, obviously only 2 lappers that make their way into the pits are Janiah Hill, Stephen Walker. They are both still 1 to 2 laps down. Now Josiah Munsell in the 15 is going to join them, as he is still sitting on pit road as of right now. So not sure what's going on with the number 15, but might be having some form of mechanical issues one way or another. In some manner or another, because I don't really see any other reason that you would sit on pit road unless if you have no gas in the thing. That could also be the case. That could very well potentially be the case. Field comes off of turn number 4. And we're going to get 1 to go this time by. Well, let's see if we get 1 to go, actually. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. And lights are out on the pace car. We'll be restarting with 49 laps complete. It is Skylar Taylor who leads the way. Ray Atikian back in 2nd position. Abby Walker now moves up into 3rd. Andrew Yeah, Andrew Miller in 4th. And how about Wyatt Walker now completing your top 5? Then in running in the 6th position is Zachary Taylor. Emily Anderson in 7th. Kyle Craven recovering and moving up into the 8th position. Running in 9th is Sebastian Vaughn, and Claire Phillips rounds out your top 10. And Munsell, he's going to line up on the inside line. He's quickly trying to rejoin the field as we get ready to go back under green flag racing. And how many times do I have to plead for this? Can we have a decent green flag run, ladies, boys, and girls? Come on now. Skylar Taylor gets a good jump on the restart. They're going to easily get by Hill. He's not up to pace. Stephen Walker and also the 15 of Munsell all over the back bumper of each other. Only just because they are literally glued to Janiyah Hill's car. Look at Abby Walker trying to ride around the outside in the 3rd position. And now you got Zachary Taylor, Emily Anderson all lined up on the bottom. But they are trapped behind Stephen Walker and Josiah Munsell. Remember, those 2 cars are a lap down. And that's allowing the front 2 of Taylor and Atikian to pull away. Let's check in at the back part of the field. Make sure there's no calamity breaking out. So far, we're clean and green. So far. Ooh, getting a little bit sideways coming off the corner. That was Noah Clifton just up ahead of these guys. Val Moscow and also Aaron Abel in the midst of this one, in the midst of this pack. So far, everybody is running double file. Might want to watch coming off of turn number 4. Ooh, a little close there for some of these drivers getting into the outside wall. Ooh, Craven made a little bit of contact with CG Halt, who was riding that outside wall coming off of going into turn 1. A little bit of 3 wide further in the back of the field. Eric Blaze getting by Bobby McGuire and Noah Clifton. Man, that 26 looks very, very clean right now as he moves up into 22nd. Trying to pick these guys off one by one. Eric Blaze trying to improve on a 7th place finish that he got last Friday in the Xfinity race here. And how about this? Zachary Taylor in 3rd, trying to hold off the charges from Emily Anderson, who's going to manage to get a nose underneath of the 85. And here comes Anderson to the point. She's going to bring Wyatt Walker with her. Ryan Little running in that 6th position, at least currently scored in 6th. Now Anderson moves to 3rd. Wyatt Walker taking a peek down the back straightaway, or at least had the car a little bit on a lower line, as if he was peeking to the inside. But he's going to stay tucked in behind the Mountain Dew Toyota Camry of Emily Anderson as they come off of turn number 2. But the front 2 of Atikian and Taylor have both checked out. And it's a 1 1/3 second difference between the leader and 3rd place. 1.2 between 2nd and 3rd. And there's obviously the 2 other lap cars of Stephen Walker and also Josiah Munsell that are separating, or at least keeping some distance between the 45 and the 6 at this current moment. 60 laps complete. Zachary Taylor falls back to 5th. Now, this is actually a pretty good run that Taylor has been needing, especially coming into this weekend, because Taylor is 2nd to last in the point standings. Probably the most unfortunate and probably worst performance that I've seen out of the 85. And I don't mean that to be mean. I don't mean that to be terrible, to at least sound terrible. But Zachary Taylor has just unfortunately been on some form of a slump, as have several drivers, especially over the years. I mean, Taylor last year did pretty well. I don't ever recall Zachary Taylor being this low in points or struggling as much as he has since his rookie year in 2020. But Zachary Taylor turning it around here tonight, running in the top 5 as of right now. Andrew Miller doing a nice job keeping that consistency going. He, along with his teammates of Noah Clifton and Nathan Stapleton, Noah Clifton and Zachary Fitzwater, find themselves inside of the top 10 in the point standings. All 3 of them do, with the exception of Nathan Stapleton, as we take a look back here. Right now running in the 11th position as of right now. He's got a mirror full of Claire Phillips in the 5 right behind him. Phillips actually had herself a really good points day at Talladega last Sunday. Managed to move herself into 31st in the points. So looking to try to continue to capitalize on some much needed momentum and move herself a little bit further up. The gap now between the 45 and the 6 has shrunk down to 0.9 of a second, as Emily Anderson, just a few laps ago, we saw her get by Josiah Munsell, now setting her sights on Stephen Walker. Try to get around him. That way Anderson is 1 spot closer to breaking in, or at least trying to get closer to maybe taking second and maybe the top position away from Skylar Taylor. And Wyatt Walker up into the 4th position as of right now. So currently the 2 scenarios are really playing into the favor of both Atikian and Walker Family Motorsports. Again, Atikian looking to try to sweep the weekend as a driver. Walker Family Motorsports looking to try to sweep as a team. Wyatt Walker obviously from the team perspective, Walker looking to try to sweep as an owner. But how sweet would it be for Wyatt Walker to sweep for his team? Right now running in the 4th position, and side-by-side battle is on for the 4th position, or for the 5th spot rather. Andrew Miller wants it from the 85 of Zachary Taylor. Avery Alford right there in 7th. And how about our current runner-up in the point standings, and definitely in good position to take the points lead back? That's Tanner Parton in the 07. The last 2 races, he had an abysmal performance that saw him lose the points lead to Russell Blaze. But after tonight, if he's able to keep going the route that he's going, he could very well and more than likely take the points lead back from Russell Blaze leaving tonight. 70 laps complete. And there goes Emily Anderson underneath of the 24 of Stephen Walker. So Anderson is going to insert her name into this fight for the top position. Hasn't been much of a fight here because Ray Atikian has been just glued to the back bumper of Skylar Taylor. I wonder if he's trying to play a little bit of mind games with Skylar Taylor. He did this last Friday with Erica Douglas, whom she and Dana Mon both stayed out on the final, what was before our final restart. And obviously they both stayed out on the same tires that they had since the beginning of the race. Ray Atikian was amongst several that took 2 tires and managed to get by the 32 and not look back from there. Maybe trying to do the same thing here. Maybe could have an opportunity as they both come up on Quentin Moore, who is way off the pace. And here goes the 45 underneath of Skylar Taylor. That was the opening, I believe, that Ray Atikian needed, so move the 45 up into the race lead. Emily Anderson goes to second. Taylor falls to third. And here comes Stephen Walker back down to the inside to try to play spoiler to Emily Anderson's party. Remember, Stephen Walker is trying to get back on the lead lap. As of right now, he would be the first car one lap down. And if another caution were to come out, he would be restarting at the front row. But now Atikian starting to pull away from Emily Anderson. But unlike Friday, if he wants to sweep this weekend, he's going to have to stay out front for at least another 75 laps past the Xfinity Series distance. He'll have to stay out front for another 123 laps here, ladies and gentlemen. And just another thing to add on, this year we have not seen a part-timer go to victory lane in the Cup Series. I don't think we saw a whole lot go to victory lane. A whole lot of part-timers go to victory lane last year. The only one that I can recall winning a NOS Energy Cup race last year was Travis Crampton at Talladega. That was when he was running part-time. But as for this year, we have not seen a part-time car go to victory lane at all in the 2026 season. If that's the case, if that happens here tonight, then obviously that's going to shut out all the other full-time contenders from some very valuable points, especially those 20 points for winning. Well, actually, I do retract that statement because remember, the bonus points for winning a race, obviously they don't go to the part-time driver. They go to the highest finishing full-time contender. And if the race were to end now, Skylar Taylor would be in the perfect position for those 20 points. Emily Anderson all over the back bumper of the number 41 as they head back into turn one. Wyatt Walker just waiting in the wings, kind of just riding comfortably in this fourth position. Then you have Andrew Miller sitting in fifth, Zachary Taylor in sixth, Alford in seventh, Ryan Little eighth. Then in ninth would be the 98 of Zachary Fitzwater, and Nathan Stapleton pops his head inside of the top 10. And now we're finally getting our wish here, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually getting ourselves a pretty good green flag run in. And we are just about 16 and a half laps away from the halfway mark here in the Menards 400 here at the Iowa Speedway for race number 9 of the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series. As Ray Atikian leads the way, if you're a fan of Death Rider Racing and if you're wondering where some of your favorite drivers from that team are running, well, as of right now, Eric Blaze, I think, would be the strongest contender out of that camp. Right now, he is currently running in the 20th position. Kyle Craven, after restarting in 8th, he has been relegated back to the 26th position. Stephen Walker, although he is running up at the front of the field, he is currently one lap down in 32nd, and Russell Blaze is behind the wall on lap number 40. And if you're a fan of Walker Family Motorsports, you won't have, we obviously covered Wyatt Walker. He's sitting in the 4th position currently as of right now. CG Hull currently running in 15th. Abby Walker running in 17th. And Terry Walker right now running in the 16th position. So the 17, the 48, and the 16 all on top of each other as of right now in the running order. And then their boss and family member, Wyatt Walker, he is in the 4th position. He has checked them all out. Or checked out on all of them, rather. Definitely poor use of those words there. I do apologize. A 1.2 second difference between 1st and 2nd right now. But Emily Anderson, I think she's also just trying to buy her time and save her tires. Right now just riding in this 3rd position. She has not really made any sort of moves to try to get by Skylar Taylor, at least not yet. The only other car that has made that move, obviously, was Ray Atikian, and look at the gap that he has put together. This is definitely a replication of what we've seen last Friday, where Ray managed to pull away from the 2nd place driver and take the race win. At least not look back from that point on, and managed to score the win in the Xfinity race back on Friday. We're seeing a similar dance and a similar song here tonight, but chances are green flag pit stops are going to play a factor as to whether or not if Ray Atikian is going to be able to come home with the race win here tonight. And if memory serves me to be correct, I don't think Trinity River Racing... Actually, no, I do stand corrected when I say this. Trinity River Racing does have a win on their resume. That came at the Circuit of the Americas with Valkyrie Atikian going to victory lane last year. But this year, it is a little bit of a different story. Their part-time car has yet to go to victory lane. And obviously Avery Alford, the new driver of the number 23, he's been running pretty consistently all year so far. He kind of had a little slump midway through this, almost first quarter or first third of the year. But he managed to pick it back up, and obviously the results, the run that he's having right now, is kind of showing it right now. Currently running in the 7th position, right behind Zachary Taylor, the number 85. He's been a part of the division. He's been a part of the Cup Series, rather, since 2020. Andrew Miller, he's been here since 2023. Wyatt Walker has also been here since 2020. He first started off on a part-time basis, and if you remember, you can actually go back on the channel and see that Wyatt Walker drove a number 99 Marvel Toyota Camry. It actually was a pretty interesting looking car. He did make some races back then, and then went full-time in 2023. And then 2 years later, once WRLA officially came back and finally completed a full season, obviously we saw Wyatt Walker go to victory lane last year. We also saw Abby Walker win a race. And then the year prior, we saw CG Hall go to victory lane at Kansas, and then Gecko Halt at the Milwaukee Mile. So Walker Family Motorsports has 4 wins to their resume on the Cup side. Trying to add number 5 here to... Actually, no, 5, actually. Because remember, Walker won at Fontana earlier this year. So they're looking for their 6th. So my math is a little off here, ladies and gentlemen. So Walker Family Motorsports is looking for their 6th win overall in their WRLA careers. Coming around this time by, we're going to be beginning the halfway lap here at the Iowa Speedway on lap 100. Ray Atikian is leading the charge, and we could very well see history here tonight. Halfway to the Menards 400, 100 to down, 100 laps down, 100 to go. Ray Atikian leads the way. Skylar Taylor in second. Then in third is Emily Anderson. Wyatt Walker riding comfortably in 4th. Miller completes your top 5. And then it's Zachary Taylor in 6th. Avery Alford 7th. Ryan Little in 8th. Zachary Fitzwater 9th. And Nathan Stapleton rounds out your top 10. So no changes as far as the top 10 is concerned. But we are coming up to the slower traffic once again, and it's going to be definitely multiplied here. You got Trinity Anderson, Skep Silver, Nikki Fox up here. Then further behind them is Quentin Moore. They're obviously going to catch up to Moore first. And then a little bit further up ahead, obviously you have those several other drivers. The McGuire Motorsports cars, I saw Noah Clifton back there, but they'll catch up to them later. But in the meantime, here they come on Quentin Moore. They head down into turn 1. Let's see exactly where Atikian is going to be going. I think he might try the inside heading into turn 3. And there he goes. He's got the nose poking out. Oh, he kind of was on the apron a little bit. Did you see that? The left side tires were just slightly on the apron. But here he comes on the 04. Just all over the back bumper of Quentin Moore's machine. But now he's going to peek down to the inside. And he's going to get by the beaten, battered Rayovac Mustang of Quentin Moore. Essentially just running a modified at this particular rate. I do apologize here, ladies and gentlemen. Just trying to get comfy in my seat here because my back is actually starting to hurt. I do have a new seat cushion, which is actually quite nice, but however, it's kind of affecting the way I'm sitting, and it's also kind of hurting my lower back. So kind of am just trying to readjust in a way to where I'm kind of resting my back on my seat and kind of helping that pain a little bit. But for the most part, I think we should be okay and good to go. Now a 1.5-second difference between Taylor and also Atikian. Emily Anderson still sitting there in that 3rd spot. Honestly, she is able to stay with Skylar Taylor here, but however, has not really made an effort to make a pass. At least not yet. Not yet as of right now. Let's actually go ahead and start looking through the field here. Wyatt Walker. Right now, still sitting in that 4th position, doing a nice job as of right now. And you have Andrew Miller. He's been pretty consistent within these last few weeks. Managed to find himself at least top 10 in the point standings. So Miller still looking to try to get his first career win. Then you have Zachary Taylor. Oh boy. Very close call there between Quentin Moore and Ryan Little. But they managed to keep it together, and we stay green. That was some really great driving by Ryan Little. But going back to Zachary Taylor, obviously one career win to his name. That came at Michigan in 2023, but he hasn't been able to see victory lane or find victory lane ever since then. Right now running in the 6th position and in a very much needed position to score some very valuable points. Avery Alford looking to try to keep this momentum going in his direction. Right now running in the 7th position, doing a very nice job. Started the season strong, but kind of fell off a little bit, but now he's starting to, again, recover all that momentum that he had at the beginning of the year. Zachary Fitzwater, he won the Daytona 500 at the start of the 2026 season. Finally nabbing his first NOS Energy Cup win that day and back in February. But now, currently running top 10 in the point standings. Has kind of been in a similar position to what he was last year. Only difference is he didn't lead in points for as long as he did last year, but still running inside of the top 10 nonetheless. Ryan Little had himself a fantastic save not too long ago, and right now still running in that 9th position. This is also another driver that could very well need some good points if he wants to move his way up through the standings. Sebastian Vaughn, right now top 25, just outside of the top 25 in points. But Vaughn having himself a much better year than what he did last year, and looking to try to recover a lot of that momentum that he feels he should have had all that time ago. One driver that had some trouble while we were going through the top 10 was Nathan Stapleton. At one point, he was in the middle of a 3-wide situation, just trying to get by the 04th Quentin Moore. He was in that fight with Claire Phillips, and then the next lap, he slapped the turn 2 wall. So he falls outside of the top 10 and has been relegated back to the 14th position. But Stapleton still running pretty good as of right now, still running inside of the top 15. But he's still trying to break a 6-year winless drought. He hasn't won since Auto Club Speedway in 2020. But it would be awesome to see Nathan Stapleton go back to victory lane in the NOS Energy Cup Series. But cycling back up to Claire Phillips in the 5. Phillips has had herself a really good tenure here in the NOS Energy Cup Series. Actually, hold up a second. I just noticed that Atikian is not leading. I believe he might have made his way into the pits. That is the case. So Atikian makes a pit stop. So chances are, I mean, maybe, just maybe, green flag pit stops may be coming up pretty soon. We'll just have to wait and see. Actually, that is the case. We're going to have to pause here on Claire Phillips because now we're seeing Skylar Taylor make their way down on the pit road on lap 122. So that hands the lead over to Emily Anderson. Anderson looking to try to break the tie that she has with Emmanuel Hartnett and become the all-time winningest driver in WRLA history once again by trying to get her 5th career win in NOS Energy Cup Series competition. This is also going to move Wyatt Walker up into the 2nd spot. Miller up to 3rd, Taylor 4th, then Avery Alford rounding out your top 5, and that I thought the 6 was going to peel off the racing surface and try to come to pit road. But that might not happen, at least for another few more laps. The gap between the 6 and the 19 is currently a 1.15 second gap. And Anderson just having some trouble getting around the 32 of Nikki Fox, who's been holding on to that outside line for quite a while. Has been hanging tough around the outside, but now Anderson breaks off from the 32. She finally gets by her. And that gap is going to grow once more between Anderson and Walker. Actually, maybe not. Walker kind of chewed into that lead by another 100th. So now it is 1 exact second between Wyatt Walker, that is, and Emily Anderson. I think that gap may grow here. And it did by at least another 10th. So that 10th that Anderson lost has been, of course, made up. Emily Anderson looking to try to pull away just a little bit more on Wyatt Walker, and she definitely has a pretty good opportunity to do it. Actually, wait, Wyatt Walker peeled off. He's on pit road. As is Abby Walker. Andrew Miller is in. And now Emily Anderson's going to surrender the lead. She's coming on down to pit road, as is Zachary Taylor. Crash in turn 3. Terry Walker involved in this one. Trinity Anderson. And also the 30 of Michael Davis. 8th caution of the night is out. It flies on lap 129. This probably is not what anybody that was already on pit road wanted to see. The good news, they already have their service done, so they won't need it for a while. But however, the caution came out. Ooh, careful. The moment that all these cars made the trip to pit road. So good news, they got their service done. Obviously, the bad news, this all happened while the caution came out, while they were on pit road. And after all of that, the race lead is going to cycle over to Ryan Little. Remember, he started on the pole for this race. So chances are obviously he's going to be leading the field back to the green flag. Let's take a look at what happened that caused our 8th caution of the night here at the Iowa Speedway. And Terry Walker has sustained some terminal damage from that turn 3 incident, and he is done for the night, as is the 4 of Trinity Anderson. So take a look at it. We're going a little bit too fast here, so we're going to slow it on down. I hit the wrong button there, folks, but regardless of that, you're going to see the 54 of Sebastian Vaughn. He's going to get into the left rear of Trinity Anderson right here. And then they start to work their way down the racetrack. And then at that point, Vaughn then finally turns that number 4 around into the down on the inside. And obviously Anderson is on the brakes, but she's still going to wash up the track right into the path of Terry Walker. And then, of course, Michael Davis with nowhere to go, and his car, at the moment that he made contact with Trinity Anderson, was just that both of those cars were just stuck together like glue, and they just traveled up the banking into the turn 3 wall. But that is just unfortunate there for both Michael Davis, all 3 of them. Trinity Anderson, Michael Davis, and Terry Walker. Walker came into this race 3rd in the standings. After tonight, I wouldn't be too shocked if he took a hit. Just kind of like the one that he just took there. That is very unfortunate for Terry Walker, Trinity Anderson, and also and also Bobby McGuire just pile drove Terry Walker. Man, talk about adding insult to injury there. What was initially a good night for Terry Walker. Actually, he was running 25th at the time. Actually, maybe not, but let's... At the time, actually, yeah, at the time here, he was running inside of the top 10. He's having himself a good night all the way up until that happened, but that's just rather unfortunate. But Terry Walker is going to be calling it a night here at the Iowa Speedway. That is just such a shame. Such a shame. A camshaft issue both on the 4 and the 48 on lap 130. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, we got ourselves a good green flag run in, at least, but can we keep that momentum up for the next, what, 69-ish laps? Maybe with 67 to go? Possibly. I promise I'm not trying to meme around when I'm saying that. But nonetheless, I mean, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty of this one a little bit later in the going. McGuire now making his way back out onto the racetrack. McGuire somehow is still on the lead lap, running in the 26th position. So far, at this point, we are going to have 33 cars running with 26 of them on the lead lap. Hill and Moore are the only two cars that are multiple laps down. But as the field works their way through turn number 4 this time around, lights are out on the pace car. It's going to be Ryan Little. Started the race from the pole. Finds himself right back to where he was before. He's going to be leading the field with the green flag. CG Holt in second. Kyle Craven in third. Then in fourth is the number 6 of Emily Anderson. Andrew Miller rounds out your top 5. Avery Alford in 6th. Rogel Dorn in 7th. Zachary Fitzwater 8th. Sebastian Vaughn 9th. Tanner Parton rounds out your top 10. And you see those 4 cars, Atikian, Taylor, Walker, and both of the Walkers, Wyatt and Abby. The reason they're down on that inside line is because they were trapped a lap down while they were on pit road the moment the caution flag came out. So that is why they're on the inside line. The good news is they have an opportunity to get their laps back. And if another caution comes out, one of them might find themselves back on the lead lap. Here we go. Maybe more than one. Look at Ray Atikian. He gets a really great jump on the restart. All 4 cars on the inside line that were trapped a lap down on pit road, they get a good jump on the restart, and around they go. Woohoo! Oh, there goes Ryan Little up into the outside wall. Kyle Craven, I think his night is definitely, actually, I don't even know what even is happening anymore. But holy cow, that was a mess. How that wasn't a caution, I'll never know. But Little and Craven are both in the pits. CG Hulk comes on down. I think that might be the rest of the cars that had yet to make a green flag stop. But my, oh my, that got really, 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 really hairy. So out of all that, Andrew Miller now breaks out with the lead. Avery Alford in second. Emily Anderson finding herself in familiar territory in third. Tanner Parton now jumps up to fourth. And Nathan Stapleton back into the top 5. How about that? But the other 4 drivers of, well, make that 5, right? No, actually, no, 4 of Atikian, Taylor, Walker, and Abby Walker, and Wyatt Walker. Both drivers are, all 4 of them are back on the lead lap. So now at this rate, they're just hoping for another caution to come out. But Andrew Miller currently has almost a 2.5 second lead over Avery Alford, who's just trying to do everything that he can to hold off a hard charging Emily Anderson. And remember, Anderson is another one of those drivers that I believe is on those 4 fresh tires as a vast majority of the field, with the exception of those that stayed out front, or that stayed out on the racetrack, like Little, Craven, Holt. But all 3 of those cars have since then went onto pit road. They got their service, and now they are back out onto the racetrack. However, Little is going to be 1 lap down. Now Kyle Craven is 3 laps down. 60 laps to go. And Andrew Miller continues to lead the way. And at this rate, they're just hoping and praying for another caution to come. At least the drivers that were trapped on pit road when the last caution flew. Obviously, they are hoping and praying for another caution to come out, so that way they can officially rejoin the lead lap cars at the tail end. Because the last thing that they want is they don't want to get chased down by Andrew Miller and be placed one lap down again. That is obviously something that they don't want. Skylar Taylor, Ray Atikian, both trapped behind Ryan Little. Remember, he just made his way back out on the track, and now here comes Wyatt Walker underneath of Rogel Dorn. And Abby Walker in the 16 looking to follow. .6 seconds is the difference between Alford and Miller. You know, Ray Atikian last Friday won the Xfinity race last Friday by 6.7 seconds over Celeste Lace. Only reason that happened is because Dana Mon and also Erica Douglas went down to pit road with 2 laps to go to get 4 fresh tires on their cars. And that is what allowed Atikian to win with a gap as big as 6.7 seconds. No, I'm actually not memeing when I say that. .54 now. 54 laps to go here in Iowa. The gap grows by another 100th of a second. Emily Anderson still glued to the back bumper of the 23. Nathan Stapleton, Tanner Parton also riding exactly where they are, 4th and 5th. Fitzy now in 6th. Then it's Rose, Phillips, Davis, and Eric Blaze, who has recovered back into the top 10. So Eric Blaze looking to try to repeat the result that he had last Friday in the Xfinity race. That scored him some very valuable and much needed points. And try to replicate that here for tonight. Right now riding behind the 13 of Mercedes Davis, who's also had herself a pretty good recovery after being involved in that lap 3 pile-up heading into the 3rd corner. Right now sitting in 9th, Claire Phillips having herself a really good night tonight. And a really good turnaround after, especially last Sunday at Talladega. She finished 8th there. Right now she's running 8th tonight. Closing in on 50 laps of racing to go here in Iowa. And take a look further back here. Kyle Craven, Eric Monaco fighting it out. What looks to be for, not really for position actually, but Monaco running in the 15th spot. Then there's the 24 of Stephen Walker running in 16th. So this will be the fight for the 15th position. So move that 24 up to that position number 15. Up to the 15th position, rather. Stephen Walker comes into this race 12th in the standings, so chances are he might either this 15th place finish or wherever he's going to finish by the time this race is said and done. If he finishes 15th or better, chances are that's going to cushion, probably going to cushion him from losing any sort of positions in the point standings. He can't really lose anything to Alex Sanvitali. He's finishing this race in 37th in the garage area. So San Vitale is going to take a pretty big hit in the standings, but as of right now, I mean, chances are I would have to say Stephen Walker's in a pretty good spot to maybe retain his 12th place spot in the points. Either that or he might lose 1 or 2 positions. You will be able to know exactly what those results will look like once the points get finalized and released in the WRLA Discord here in another 46 laps now. Miller's starting to open up that lead by what feels like at least 1/100th at a time. He's now starting to catch up to Rogel Dorn, who is off the pace. Durrani Racing, just not a great night for them at all. I mean, obviously we touched on Sam Vitale being out of this one in the 37th position. Quentin Moore is 31st, 2 laps down, and then 2 spots ahead of him, 1 lap down, soon to be 2, is Rogel Dorn. And Dorn comes into this race dead last in the points standings. So obviously not the run that Dorn was looking for in order to try to get himself out of dead last in the points standings. And now 43 laps to go. Miller continuing to grow that gap over Avery Alford, who's just absolutely getting a lot of pressure from Emily Anderson. Now up to 4th is Nathan Stapleton. Got to set his sights on Anderson and Alford for the 2nd and 3rd positions. He's going to have to get after Anderson first if he wants to be up into that runner-up position. And if possible, say if Stapleton does make it up to 2nd, and if something were to happen to Andrew Miller, that would mean that Stapleton would be in prime position to maybe get by his own teammate to win the race. That is only if he gets by Anderson and Alford first. And then on top of that, if something happens to Andrew Miller, maybe a mechanical failure, maybe the engine blows up, possibly on this number 96, anything is a possibility within these final 40 laps here in Iowa. Take a look further back in the field. Everybody now got themselves into a little single file rhythm, and then you got Nikki Fox, Janiah Hill going at it up here. Remember, Fox currently is on the tail end of the lead lap, or at least close to that, in the 23rd position. And great job also to Skep Silver. Both of those cars basically modifieds at this point, running 22nd and 23rd, and pretty well up to pace. That gap continuing to grow, 2.74 seconds on Avery Alford. Miller just absolutely continuing to just pull away from his competition. No, that's just absolutely amazing stuff. Just, I wouldn't say, I mean, not particularly amazing for anybody else behind Andrew Miller, but for Miller himself, he's been close to winning his first race several times. Of course, kind of been one of the dark horses of the NS Racing stable, and has been for the last several years that he's been a part of this team and has been a part of the WRLA altogether. I've personally considered Andrew Miller as a dark horse, but now here he is in position to win his first NOS Energy Cup Series race since joining in 2023. 34 laps to go. Coming up on Quentin Moore once again. And the front and the other three up here, all nose to tail. Tanner Parton kind of hanging back just a little bit. Stapleton went a little bit wide coming off of turn number 2. That might allow Parton an opportunity to take back this 4th position. Parton all over the back bumper of this 97 as they head back into turn 1. Ooh, now Parton goes wide through turns 1 and 2. And that allows an opportunity for Stapleton to pull away. Maybe try to see if he can catch back up to the 6. And because of the 04, that gap between Miller and Alford has been taken down a couple notches. Now down by 0.3 to 2.4 seconds between the 96 and the 23. Coming up to Bobby McGuire. Now that gap is 2.3 seconds. Miller's just got to make some quick work of Bobby McGuire here. And potentially... Actually, he's got to make some quick work of Rogel Dorn here once again. And here goes Miller on McGuire. This is to put him a lap down. Now down to 29 to go. The gap is now 2.1 seconds between Miller and Alford. But that 04 of Quentin Moore is really going to be the difference maker with Avery Alford. Let's see if he's going to be able to get by more flawlessly. The gap is now 2 seconds. 2.08 seconds. Oh, he peaks it low. Anderson kind of lets up just a little bit. That opens up the door for Nathan Stapleton. He's peeking the nose. And they've been behind this 04 for a little while, and that's just allowing Andrew Miller to pull away and open up that lead back to where it was initially. Now they finally get by the 04 of Quentin Moore. But they just lost a lot of time to the 96 of Miller, who is opening that lead back up to now closing up on just a little over 2.5 seconds. Thought the caution actually came out there. That would have been absolutely dramatic if a caution were to come out now, because then that would mean that lead that Andrew Miller has over Avery Alford, he would have had to kiss that goodbye. But so far, 24 laps to go. Miller has not had a lot of issues since taking the race lead away. And after that very hairy restart, I mean, he has not looked back since then. I mean, Alford is also starting to chew into that lead just a little bit more, 100th at a time, but now that gap grows once again to 2.46 seconds, almost 2.5 seconds. And that's going to be even more as Alford gets held up by Bobby McGuire. They look further in the back. Fitzy getting by more. CG Halt up here as well. Remember, Halt currently is 31st, 3 laps down. Gary Rose having himself a good night here. Claire Phillips sitting pretty here in this 8th position, as is Mercedes Davis and also the 26 of Eric Blaze. 21 laps to go. And obviously Moore staying on the outside, doing a very nice job of particularly staying out of the rest of the other leaders' way. And it's such a shame, too, because Ray Atikian was on his way to winning here tonight, of course. I mean, and could have swept the weekend, but as you can see here, currently sitting in the 13th position. He's recovered up to 13th. However, now up to 12th. Gonna try to go after Josiah Munsell for 11th. But I think if this race goes green the rest of the way, that might be all she wrote here for Ray Atikian. And then you have other drivers, of course, like the Walkers. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to recover that momentum, unlike Ray Atikian has been able to. He's already closing in on the top 10. But as for the Walkers, they've both been, ever since they came to pit road, got service done and were trapped a lap down. Ever since they got trapped a lap down on the final, on what currently is our final caution as of right now, they just haven't been able to recover. They got back on the lead lap and just have not really gone anywhere since then. Currently sitting 24th and 25th. Skylar Taylor is also another driver that has recovered their momentum, now up to 12th. Atikian now setting his sights on Eric Blaze, heading down into turn 3. But it might be all she wrote here for the 45 team of Ray Atikian. He goes wide through turn number 4, just trying to catch up to the 26. And now here comes the 41 to capitalize on the mistakes that Atikian has been making going through 1 and 2. So now move that 41 up into the 11th position. 14, or now coming to 14 laps to go. This time by. And there is our race leader, Andrew Miller. Still out front by 2.5 seconds. There is a clear racetrack between the 96 and the 23. So now the question is, how much time is that 23 gonna make up before we get down to the end of this race? Coming up to 13 laps to go here in Iowa. And Andrew Miller still leading the charge. A couple hundredths being chopped down by Alford. Still having a lot of pressure applied from Emily Anderson. Nathan Stapleton's riding now pretty comfortably in 4th. And Parton definitely needing this race here tonight. Just riding comfortably here in this 5th position. And is very well on his way to taking the points lead back after tonight. Atikian and Skylar Taylor have now officially made their way back into the top 10. But now with 11 laps to go, I honestly just do not think it's enough. The only way I see I see both of those cars getting back into contention is if another caution comes out. They both have made their way up to 7th and 8th positions. Atikian now making his way to the inside of Skylar Taylor. 10 laps to go from here in Iowa. Just going to keep our eyes here on Andrew Miller, who's been riding very, very comfortably in this race lead, just under 2.5 seconds on Avery Alford as of right now. The only thing at this rate that Miller does not want to see is a caution flag. If that happens, then we could be in for a very, very chaotic restart. 8 to go. That gap's starting to shrink. Now down to 2/3 of 2.3 seconds. Alfred's closing in just a little bit more at a time, but definitely is not going to be enough. 7 to go. Taylor now up to 7th. Or 6th, rather. And then Rayatikian up to 7th position. They are doing everything that they can to get themselves back into contention, or at least try to drive their way back into contention. But they're just going to have to do the very best that they can and just try to get the most of what they can out of this one. 5 fingers will be in the air this time by, signifying 5 laps of racing to go. And Andrew Miller, should things go green the rest of the way, is on his way to his first NOS Energy Cup Series win. And now, really, actually, at this rate, I don't think Miller cares if a caution comes out or not, because at this point, we're not going to be able to get the race restarted to have like a green-white checkered. So at this point, Miller could care less if a caution comes out. 4 to go. 2.2 seconds between Alford and Miller. And now, oh, here comes Skylar Taylor and Rayatikian on the back bumper of Tanner Parton. They're going to try to wrestle to get by him. 3 laps of racing to go. But I honestly think this is probably as far up as they're going to get. They both have recovered pretty amazingly, and they are definitely, obviously, going to come home with top 10 finishes. But as for Andrew Miller, he's got 2 laps of racing to go. That gap continuing to shrink just a little bit more at a time between that, and Alfred's just eating into that gap just a little bit more at a time, but obviously going to be out of time. Miller works his way through turn 4, white flag in the wind, 1 lap to go from here at the Iowa Speedway. Andrew Miller comes into this race top 10 in the points standings. He is yet to score a win here for NS Racing. And now down the back straightaway one more time, getting into turn number 3. He's finally going to be able to do it. Coming off of turn number 4, Andrew Miller is a NOS Energy Cup Series winner here in Iowa. Avery Alford comes home in second. Emily Anderson comes home third. Nathan Stapleton coming home in the 4th position. Skylar Taylor, great recovery for them. They complete your top 5, as is for Rayatikian. He'll finish in the 6th position. In 7th will be Tanner Parton. And regardless if it's a top 5 or top 10, he is leaving here with the points lead once again. Zachary Fitzwater comes home in 8th. In 9th is Jerry Rose, and Claire Phillips will round out your top 10. Take a look at from positions 11th all the way down to 25th. They all finished 1 lap down or more. All finished on the lead lap, rather. So it was 25 cars that all finished on the lead lap. Then you go on down to McGuire, down to Quentin Moore. They finished 1 lap down or more. And then from 34th all the way down to 42nd, they all smelled what the Rock was cooking. But nonetheless, man, honestly, that race, since we got done with all of what the hell that was at the very beginning, within the first quarter of the event, we had some pretty good racing since then. Obviously, 1 caution on lap 130, so we had 9 cautions overall. But the race definitely kind of recovered, and we did get to see some pretty good green flag runs in the process. And it saw Andrew Miller pull away with the victory over Avery Alfred by 2.1 seconds. So big congratulations to Andrew Miller on scoring the victory here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. And NS Racing definitely picking up a little bit more momentum. Again, with Fitzy winning the Daytona 500 to start the year, Andrew Miller getting another win for the team here in Iowa. But one more time, congratulations to the number 96 of Andrew Miller on scoring the race win here tonight. Be sure to keep an eye on the point standings when Be sure to keep an eye on the Discord for your point standings when they get released if you're watching this on YouTube. Don't forget, this weekend we'll be the Truck Series will be returning at the at the Charlotte Motor Speedway rather, and then Friday and Saturday, the Xfinity and the Cup Series will be at the Texas World Speedway. We'll be going over there for the first time ever, so that should be some fun times over there. As for trucks, they're going to Charlotte to kick us off, and that's definitely going to be a very fun time. All three divisions back on the racetrack, so that's actually going to be a very fun time. One more time, I can't believe I'm saying this, but one more time for real, it's congratulations to Andrew Miller on scoring the victory here tonight for the first time here in the NOS Energy Cup Series. If you guys are watching this live on Twitch, be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss a future stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you guys like what you see, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to consider subscribing so you can keep up with some fine WRLA content all throughout the 2026 season. Be sure to keep an eye on the Discord when the point standings do get released. If you are in the WRLA Discord, be sure to keep an eye on those point standings. Definitely big chances are definitely guaranteeing that Tanner Parton is leaving with the points lead once again. And definitely a really good recovery for Tanner Parton, finishing in that 7th position. Definitely what he needed for tonight. Can he keep that momentum up going into Texas World? Will NS Racing continue the momentum? Can Nathan Stapleton break the 6-year winless drought at the Texas World Speedway? Will Russell Blaze answer back by winning over at Texas World? Or will somebody else come along and shake things up? We're about to find that out when we get over to the Texas World Speedway and trucks returning at Charlotte on Thursday. Have yourselves a fantastic week, everybody. Take care. Stay safe. For the Truck Series, we'll see you at the Texas World Speedway, for Charlotte, rather. And as for Xfinity and Cup, we'll see you guys at the Texas World Speedway. But in the meantime, have yourselves a fantastic week, and we'll see you all at Charlotte and Texas World. This WRLA telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without any authorized written consent of 11 Broadcasting. WRLA would like to thank all of our loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.